Hey guys, what's up? Pim Arthur here. You just caught me taking a nice little bath here, which looks really strange in that pit. It's like going up into his eyes. Anyway, welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. In the last episode, we screwed around getting some more pieces of heart, and we got another heart container, and we're almost at another one again. We're at 3 pieces right now. But in this episode, we're actually going to continue the story. Yeah, I know, big surprise. We're actually going to get started on a dungeon here, too, if I can get my ass over there. But if you dive down here, you'll notice we're back at Lake Hylia. Well, what would we be doing here? Like, dude, you were just here last episode. Are you psycho? Actually, I'm not. Because we have the silver scale, we can dive down and get this down. Quite useful. Because it's a bottle. You got an empty bottle. Put something inside and press C to use it. Wait, what? What? Something's already inside? Well, we're going to have to take a look at that whenever we get back into Zora's domain, won't we? Alright, let's take a look and see what's inside there, man. Letter in a bottle, that's nuts. What is this? Huh? It looks like there's something... We already established this! It's a letter. Help me, I'm waiting for you inside Lord Jabu Jabu's belly, Ruto. P.S. Don't tell my father. What? Did any of that make sense? Well, it has if you played the game, of course. And so naturally, when somebody tells you not to do something, the first thing you should do is go and do it. So, let's walk up to Mr. Fatso here, target him, and use the C-stick to show him the bottle that has a letter in it. Oh, this letter, it's from Princess Ruto. You mean your daughter. From Princess Ruto. You don't need to be so formal. She's inside Lord Jabu Jabu? That's not possible. Yeah, never mind. Our guardian god, Lord Jabu Jabu, would never eat my dear Princess Ruto. But since that stranger Ganondorf... Oh, yeah, that would explain it. Lord Jabu Jabu's been a little green around the gills. Green around the gills. I'll keep this letter. You keep the bottle it was in. Take it respectfully. Please find my dear Princess Ruto immediately. Zora! I don't know why he says Zora right there. And welcome to one of the other scenes that a lot of people harp on for this game, and I can't blame them because it's... He moves aside really slowly. It's kind of funny. Especially when you hear the noise. One of my favorite jokes I've ever heard about this scene, though, is how long does it take for King Zora to move his butt out of the way? And the answer is a week, which is the noise that he's making. It sounds like he's saying a week. But yeah, it's annoying, but luckily that's the only time you'll have to see it. You don't ever have to worry about it again or anything like that. So, let's head on out back and see what we can't find. Welcome to Zora's Fountain. I wouldn't really call it a fountain, but okay. Guess it's where all the water comes from, but there's no physical fountain here. And this is Lord Jabu Jabu, which Princess Ruto said she had been eaten by or was inside of or something weird like that. I'm going to go ahead and grab what's in these pots here. I'm not entirely sure what's in them. Looks like it's just some Deku Nuts, which I'll gladly take those. Fill up my slingshot ammo. And this is what you need the fish for. Because if you dump this out right in front of Lord Jabu Jabu, you'll be able to get his attention. And this is the only way to get his attention, too. I think that sign might mention it as well. What is he, a vacuum? Alright, let's get out of here. What? Dude! No! No! Okay, anyway, I sound too much like NCS now. But welcome to one of the rather stranger dungeons in the Zelda series. Inside Jabu Jabu's belly. That's right, this is actually a dungeon, believe it or not. It is a dungeon. Here we go. We're just going to hit that switch, which does not cause him any pain at all. Don't worry, he's fine. He's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Yeah. It's all good. Yeah, this is a rather peculiar dungeon. It's very strange. One of these boxes has 5 rupees in it. Oh no, it doesn't. That's disappointing. Oh well. Let's just continue on and see if we can't find Princess Ruto in here. What is that? A green tentacle thing? And sure enough, she's right there. You! Who are you? I am Ruto, Princess of the Zoras. What? Are you saying my father asked you to come here to save me? I'd never ask anyone to do such a thing. Letter in a bottle? I have no idea what you're talking about. My father is worried about me? I don't care. I'm sure you don't. Anyway, I can't go home right now. And you, get out of here, understand? Well. Oh no! Well, I guess we're both stuck down here now. Are you still hanging around here? I told you to go away. I'm okay. I've been going inside Lord Jabu Jabu's belly since I was little, but Lord Jabu Jabu is very strange today. There are electrified jellyfish and strange holes around. What? On top of that, my precious stone was... But that's none of your business. Anyway, you, go home now, understand? No. You're that worried about me? Then I will give you the honor of carrying me. However, I won't leave until I find the thing I'm looking for. You'd better believe me. Oh, gosh almighty. So that's right, for the first half of this dungeon, you're going to basically be forced to carry around Ruto. She does come in handy on a couple of occasions, though, so I'll be sure to make use of that. So first, we need to throw her up here, because believe it or not, despite the fact she's a Zora, if she gets in water that's too deep, she will actually drown and get sent back to the start of the room that you were just in, or just back where you found her originally. So we're going to step on the switch, and this is also a time switch, and obviously you can't carry her while swimming. I knew that bubble was going to do that. And there's not much timer on the switch, so I'm going to go ahead and get the Skulltula token. The water's going to come back down. If you want to come up here, though, there's a fairy, and I already have a bottle equipped. I could have sworn it was a treasure chest with a recovery heart, just like in the first dungeon, but I guess not. I'll go ahead and take those. Yeah, there's some enemies swimming around in the water there, but you don't have to fight them. We will later, though, for the, I think the map. But for right now, I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, so let's just go ahead and continue on. And you're not supposed to have the map at this point anyway, so don't worry. Right here we have a switch, but instead of wasting slingshot ammo, let's just throw a Ruto at it. That's right, she makes a weapon. You can actually destroy those bubbles with her as well. If you want to. So let's head inside here. Select this back at that guy. And what's down here? Because I actually legitimately don't remember and I'm curious. I think this is just a Deku scrub or two. Yeah, just a Deku scrub. He does not sell you a piece of heart or anything important, just like, probably Deku seeds, stuff like that. In the Master Quest version, you actually have to go down there, though, because in the Master Quest version, there's a lot of cows inside of Lord Jabu Jabu, and they actually serve as switches a couple times, which is rather bizarre, but that's what they do. The Master Quest version of this dungeon is rather bizarre, to be perfectly honest. It was pretty fun to play, though. I liked this one. The dungeon I got lost in the most in the Master Quest version was the Fire Temple. Like, big time lost. And then the second one was actually Dodongo's Cavern, because I was not thinking a certain jump through, but it's alright. So now we're back in this room again, but this time we have Ruto, and we're not going to go down there again, so make sure you avoid doing that unless you want to backtrack again. What we're going to do is actually head to the other end of this room, but make sure you don't go too close to the center of this, because that jellyfish might drop on you. And attack with your sword all you like, all you're going to get by it is some stun. So we're going to avoid that for now. And a switch. This switch, it doesn't look like you can press down on it with your weight alone. Well, that's because you need to be holding Ruto, which I was. Silly game. Let's drop this down. And it looks like there's nothing in here, but actually, there is. Really, the way I find to deal with these guys is that. Is just go ahead and activate them by running over them. And then charging a spin attack and wait for them to get close. And that's how you deal with them. They might usually hit you, but they're pretty good about dropping hearts, so I wouldn't... You're probably going to be fine, even if they do hit you, so... Come here, you. I think that was the last one. Yes, it was! Now we're going to see if I was actually right about this, if it was the map or not. It might be the compass. I'm pretty sure it's the map, though. I don't think it's the dungeon item, is it? I'm not good about remembering what items are where. No, it is the dungeon item. It's the boomerang! Probably the best item you can get in the first third of this game. Press C to use it to attack distant enemies. This can also be used big time to pick up Skulltula tokens. It's used for the first third of this game. It's used for picking up pretty much all tokens. It's very, very useful, and we're going to be using it also to progress through the dungeon quite a bit. This is a really useful item to have. I've always liked the boomerang from the Zelda series, personally. This right here is actually a switch that you can only... it's one of the switches you have to keep something on in order to keep it using. So you're going to set Ruto down and head in here yourself. Right here we've got this weird little tentacle-like thing, so we're going to pull out our boomerang and take care of this. The best strategy I found for dealing with this thing is honestly just spinning in circles and waiting for it to come back down, because you have to hit that one specific spot on it each time, so you can't just throw the boomerang like mad. Still, killing these things are very, very easy. This isn't a mini-boss or anything like that. The mini-bosses later in the dungeon, and be perfectly honest, if you know how to take care of him, he's really easy. He gave me a lot of trouble the first time, but you can actually take him out in one hit. But there's the dungeon map, so we at least have that, and the camera did not like that room, apparently. Now note that if you do leave Ruto in a room and you do not go on without her, she'll mention something like, "How could you leave me behind? If you're a man, act like one, take responsibility." Yada yada yada. Of course, we had to leave her out there because now the red slimy thing is gone. That must be because you cut the red tail. Will that work with the other ones too? Of course it will. Alright, now this right here is a very interesting room. This is where this is probably the only time you're going to see me ever use Deku Nuts in the game. In order to get the compass, you have to destroy all these bubbles in 40 seconds. The Deku Nut makes this easy. Easy. That took a second and a half. Like, it was ridiculously easy, and they will usually drop like a green rupee, some slingshot ammo, some magic power. Nothing typically important, but that room is easy. Do not bother trying to shoot those out with your slingshot. Don't bother with your sword. The Deku Nut is the way to go. As long as you've got at least one or two of them, and even one, to be perfectly honest, would take out a good majority of them. Not difficult, even a little bit. So while not required, the compass is there if you want it. Now the thing is, when you cut the red tail, the other ones are still here, so you will have to cut all the tails in order to progress through. But since you cut the red tail there, the red one here is also gone. This is the part that threw me off the first time I played. Is because there's actually two red tails that that go away whenever you cut, or two red areas that go away whenever you cut the tail. This one's kind of like a dark red, dark black. It's a weird looking color. I'm not really sure exactly what it is. This one doesn't drop anything though. By this point, they expect you to know that cutting the tails is a reward in itself because it allows you to progress. Which is fine. We've got our map, we got our compass, we've got our dungeon item. There's not really that much more we could want. You can fight those guys if you want. I usually just ignore them. It's really the best thing to do, to be perfectly honest. And here's the green one. This would explain the green thing in that room that we saw Ruto, but this one's got some jellyfish guarding it, so I'd recommend before the tail notices you, whenever you get out too far, just go ahead and knock out the rest of these. Just so they're not in the way. I've never found them to be in the way, but at least you don't have to worry about them this way. Note that the only way these guys will actually try to attack you is basically just to ram into you. So don't just walk straight into them, of course. That's going to hurt you. So just avoid doing that. So that's all for this little segment right here. That was the last tail we need to cut. I like the idea of it, but the dungeon's still very short. That's all we had to do for cutting the tails. There's no more in the dungeon. That green one was the last one. Orange, dude? Really? Psycho. And this is the area that it was in. So if you jump down here, this will actually take you to a new segment. And actually, I'm just going to stick with the slingshot in destroying both of these Skulltulas, and then I'll get the token with the slingshot. Or with the boomerang. The boomerang's easier to collect the tokens, but it's got an awkward angle if you're not actually targeting, and for whatever reason, you can't target gold Skulltulas. Not with the L targeting, anyway. It's kind of strange, but that's how it works. And would you looky there, there's a third spiritual stone. That's it. That's what I've been looking for. Throw me up there, onto that pedestal. Or onto the platform, whatever. Now go get it. Princess Ruto got the spiritual stone. But why Princess Ruto? Because we had to throw her up there. Oh my goodness, I finally found my mother's stone. I got very upset when Lord Jabu Jabu swallowed it. Well, at least it wasn't in his kidney. Because then he'd have a kidney stone. Ah, so bad. So yes, she accidentally dropped it inside of him somehow, and so she went to go get it. Now that she's found it, she doesn't need to be here anymore. So we shall escort her out. And you think that would be the second half, would be trying to get back out, but no, it's not. What's this? An octopus? Welcome to our mini-boss. Now, what you're supposed to do here and what I do are two completely different things. Also, green background is ugly. What you're supposed to do is basically run around the side of this and try to outrun him by staying in as close as you can in order to attack him from behind. What you should do, if you're playing this along, let him hit you, he'll turn around, use the boomerang to stun him, and then get a Deku Stick and jump attack, and he is dead. That's all you have to do. Please don't try to run around that platform, because it will take a long, long time, and it's a major pain in the butt. Let him hit you. You're going to take like a half a heart of damage. He always drops 3 hearts anyway, so it's not that big a deal if you take a moderate amount of, or not even a moderate, a small amount of damage. Grab another fairy, not that I need it. But that mini-boss is very, very easy if you use that strategy against them. The boomerang will stun him. The Deku Stick jump attack will take him out in one hit. It's a very, very good strategy. I cannot recommend that strategy enough. Also, I can recommend not running into jellyfish. It's not very good. Right here, just use the boomerang to make these red things function as platforms. The Autorock you can kill if you want, you don't have to. Just note that if you're trying to climb up while you hit him, it's gonna make you fall off. And run and jump onto this. Oh, that sounds so disgusting when you think about the fact that it's in a stomach. Whatever. Alright. Get lost, you. The slingshot does not work on those jellyfish. I don't think it does anyway, so don't even bother with it. And the reason that platform is there now is so we can go back here and pick up a crate. Oh, right, you have to jump on it and then set the crate down. It's weird like that. And now we're inside here. Whoa, what the? Why is that still counted as a hit? Just go ahead and jump to the other side and take care of those 2 jellyfish. Not taking my own advice. There we go. Grab yourself another token. Apparently a blue rupee as well if you want it. And believe it or not, as you can tell by the skull icon, we're actually done with the dungeon right here. This is the last room. All you have to do here is to hit the switch, get near the left side because the boomerang throws in an arc, so you avoid hitting that wall right there. And it will hit the switch. Take the boomerang back. And here we go, time to fight our boss. So it looks like the first 3 dungeons in the game are only going to take 1 video each. Especially when you consider the fact that the first dungeon was in the first video. Like, they're not very long dungeons. This boss, I will say, is the hard. Like I said in the second temple, or the second dungeon, this is the hardest of the first 3, but compared to what we've been fighting, that doesn't really say very much. He's kind of weird. This is always the boss fight I find the strangest. It's Baronade! Bioelectric Anemone. So in the first part of this fight has a lot of stages, but they're all pretty short stages. In the first stage, basically, you're going to want to cut the 3 tentacles down so you can get him to start moving freely. In the second round, what you want to do is to get rid of all the jellyfish here. The thing is, you can keep him in stun lock for a while. Just by continuously targeting him to stun him with the boomerang. And then once all of those are taken out, the second ring of jellyfish is going to come back around. Can I L-target him, please? And you have to try to get inside of this with the boomerang without getting hit. And pretty much you're just going to be throwing it over and over is what you're going to be doing. Hey! You'll probably get hit a couple times here, but in all honesty, it's not that bad. It'll probably take 2 attempts to get rid of all the jellyfish, so not that big a deal, though. And then you're going to stun him with the boomerang once again. This is basically a lot of stunning with the boomerang type of bosses right here. And then after you're unable to hit his weak section, you're just going to have to dodge the lasers. You can do this, you can go around him, whatever you want to do. Really, as long as you're not moving here, you're probably fine. Or as long as you are moving. Just keep moving, and that's usually the best way to avoid getting hit. He does get a little bit better about evading the boomerang, but even then, he can only last so long. So 3 jump attacks with the Deku Stick will take him out, and he explodes like a nasty zit. It's kind of gross. So I took more damage from him than I did in the other 2 fights, if that counts for anything. Whatever. So we got another heart container. Your maximum life energy is increased once again. So if I see him right, then that is 10 hearts. 1, 2, 3. Now I gotta check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 10 hearts. It's hard to tell when there's not a second row. You're late. What took you so long? You're useless. I was just lonely, that's all. Just a little. Why couldn't she have just left the spiritual stone here? Have to yell at me. Woman! And as expected, she goes from yelling at you to being creepily seductive. Ugh. Water's going up over his eyes, and he doesn't even blink because he doesn't care. Ew, would you get away from me? Ugh. Nasty. You looked cool. Cooler than I thought you would anyway. I should have had somebody else do this that could have done like a really creepy girly voice. Well, anyway, you saved me, so I guess I'll reward you. What do you wish? Just tell me. I want that spiritual stone, or nothing, really. We'll go with this one. You mean the spiritual stone of waters or sapphire, don't you? My mother gave it to me and said that I should give it only to the man who will be my husband. You might call it Zora's engagement ring. Alright. I'll give you my most precious possession, Zora Sapphire. Hoot hoot hoot. I might have to go back in and like put my own creepy seductive voice in there. I don't know. Future me is bad at editing things because he's a lazy ass. Yay, I got a thing! You obtained Zora Sapphire. This is the spiritual stone of water passed down by the Zoras. Her most precious possession? You don't know what she's talking about. But hey, you've collected all 3 of the spiritual stones. Go back to see Princess Zelda. Don't tell my father. Ugh, what's wrong with you? Alright. Well, there's one more thing I want to do before we end off the video. And that is to go pick up our second magic ability. This was one I never used, ever. But I am going to pick it up. All you need for this is bombs, and you technically could get this before the dungeon's before the 3rd dungeon is complete, but I didn't care enough to actually go and get it then. So just bomb that area there. Wait, what? Dude. There we go. I don't know what I thought I was trying to pull out there. Like, I knew I was like, okay, I gotta play Zelda's Lullaby. Pulls out Slingshot. Wait, what? You can't play Zelda's Lullaby on a slingshot. crazy fool. Oh yes, that looks very, very sexy. Clearly, with her crazy pointy boobs. The Great Fairy of Magic. She will give you yet another magic spell. So we've got Din's Fire. Now time for the second one. This one you never need. If you played Twilight Princess, as far as I remember, and like I said, I don't ever use this type of feature, but it's similar to Oku from Twilight Princess. It's Furor's Wind. This is a warp magic you can use to see. Warp when you are in danger. You will teleport to the warp point. When you first use the magic, you create a warp point. When you use the magic again, you can either dispel the warp point you created last time, or warp to that point. So basically, let's say you're in Kakariko Village, and it only works in dungeons, so just a fair warning about that. But just to give an actual example of how it works, because they don't explain it very well. Let's say, if you made a warp in Kakariko Village, and then you were in Kokiri Forest. You could use the item again and either warp back there to Kakariko, or you could just get rid of the warp point altogether. But it only works in quote-unquote dungeons that have a map, because there are actually some places that are not temples that will still have a map. There's 2, I believe, total. I don't think the Training Fortress has one, so 2 other than that. But really, I don't ever use this. I like to if I start a dungeon, I want to be one of those things, like, if I start it, I want to finish it in the same set. I don't want to have to put it down halfway through. Because, like, for me, the worst thing I could ever do in a dungeon would be to, like, play half of it and then save and quit and then come back later. Like, that would be really hard for me to do. I usually just try to get it, like, just done all in one hit, so that's pretty much my strategy for those. But anyway, we're up to 10 hearts now, and we've collected all 3 of the spiritual stones. So, in the next episode, because I don't think there's anything to do with the boomerang outside of that, outside of, you know, outside of collecting Skull Shield tokens, the boomerang's not used, I don't think, for any pieces of heart. There's one that I could get, but we'll be getting it pretty shortly without the boomerang, so I really don't care that much about it. So, I think that's going to be it for, I think we're just going to keep going through the story, which is going to be, after this, we're going to be starting really what I consider the second third of the game. And it's going to start with a fair bit of dialogue, so fair warning about that. And by dialogue, I mean monologue from several different new characters that will be introduced, but what are you going to do? So, I will go ahead and end it off here, since we're at 28 minutes. So thank you guys for watching. This has been Pitmarthroy with Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And I believe next time, there's nothing else I can think of that we need to do, so we're probably just going to jump straight into going back to see Princess Zelda. Because there's nothing I can think of immediately that we really need to do. I might pick up like one final piece of heart just so we have 11, just so I can be a jerk. But either way, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys then. Later.